Alright, people, well, I've spoken on how I like how Donald Trump is outspoken, and I actually agree with most of what he's saying. But I'm going to cover, I don't think he's perfect. I'm going to cover the negatives of Donald Trump here. Again, I think he's overall a pretty good candidate. I would like to see him president as long as he's not, working for Hillary or a Democratic operative. I support him. But you never know in this government. But from what I've seen, I think he's a real person. I think he's real. And I think he really wants to become president. But I'm going to go over 10 reasons why, 10 things I don't like about Donald Trump. So let's get into it. He was once a Democrat. He once supported many Democrat issues like healthcare, abortion, things like that. And it's very alarming to see someone flip-flop, on many issues so late in their lives. Most people, form a political opinion when they're younger, and then maybe change it when they're younger because they're stupid and young. But once you get older, you usually stick with your guns, and you don't change too much. But many of these Republicans, they were for abortion, 15, 20 years ago. Then they just changed their viewpoint because more Americans became pro-life. So it's definitely something to look out for right there, him changing on so many viewpoints. Number 2, he donated to many Democrats, even Republicans too. He admits he used the system, the corrupt system. And we all know the system of, giving to politicians, to buy them off. They're all bought and paid for. It's corrupt. And Donald Trump admits that system's corrupt, and he admits he participated in that system. So it's not good that Donald Trump participated in a corrupt system like that. So that's something to look out for as well. Number 3, even though Planned Parenthood was exposed with these undercover videos here as being, not only were these acts, in my opinion, immoral, but they were illegal under federal law. They were illegal. It's illegal to sell baby parts. Yet Donald Trump wants to keep funding them. Are you kidding me? Why would you fund a group that broke the law? You wouldn't fund them. I would investigate them, not fund them. And he said, oh, we're not going to fund the abortion part. I don't care. They've proven they've done illegal acts, and they get taxpayer money. You want to keep funding them? That's stupid. Number 4, he's against Snowden. Now, Snowden's, in my opinion, somebody who's good because he exposed that the government spies on us. He exposed many of the corruption within the NSA. A lot of people say, oh, he released secret terrorism information. Well, show me where the information Snowden released has caused a terrorist attack or caused, terrorists to be helped. I haven't seen any evidence yet. So I think that's bullshit to cover for the NSA. And to divert from the fact that the NSA is spying on us and infringing on our Fourth Amendment rights. Yet, Donald Trump wants to prosecute Snowden, it looks like, bring him back here and prosecute him. I think Snowden's, for the most part, a hero and should not be prosecuted. Next one, number 5. I think he's too hawkish. Now he's much better on foreign policy than, a Jeb Bush or a Hillary Clinton or an Obama or the neocons. But, he was talking of, like, if Saudi Arabia has a civil war, we should get involved. Why should we get involved in that? That doesn't affect us. It's not our issue. Just like Iraq. It's good he's outspoken against Iraq. But why should we get involved in a civil war that doesn't have anything to do with us? We're $18 trillion in debt or some shit like that. Our infrastructure's failing. Our education system's in the shit. We have so many problems with our country. So much debt. Why are we helping? Why are we, helping people fix their problems before we fix ours? Why are we putting the priorities of other nations in front of our own people? It's ridiculous. We shouldn't be going over and policing the world. Or if we should, at least he says this, if we should be policing the world and fighting other people's wars, we should be getting paid for it. Because you learn in history, we learned in history class that when we fought World War, the Revolutionary War, and other countries helped us, we had to pay them back for helping us. I don't see fucking Iraq or any of these countries paying us back for being their military. Number 6, he admitted he's used the country's laws to get rich. Now he's admitted that these laws are pretty much stupid and they are bad. But he really admits that he was, used these laws which were corrupt to get rich. And he's like, well, everybody else did it, so it's okay. And, well, I disagree. Just because everybody else does it does not mean it's all right. I think it might make it a little bit, like if you look back with slavery, it was kind of more of the culture. And I'm sure if many people were born in that day and age, they would support slavery. But, it's still wrong, and he should still be called out for it. Because he probably knows it's wrong, too. What he's doing is probably screwing people over. But, I mean, technically he didn't do anything illegal, probably. But still, I think you should still have morals. And even if something is legal, it does not mean you should do it. Because I think what you do should not be defined by if you follow the law or not. It should be defined by your morals as well. So, number 7. He says, he reads the Bible and it's his favorite book, but when asked on, if he could quote a Bible verse, he was seemed like he was lying there. He's like, well, it's private information and whatever. Just be honest, Trump. I mean, if you don't really read the Bible, just say it. I mean, I don't know any Bible verses. I consider myself a Christian. I'm not a guy who's praying to God 24/7. I'm not the best Christian I can be, but I respect people. I'm very nice to people. I don't do stupid shit. I don't lie that much. But no, I don't really lie. I'm very honorable. Yeah, I mean, he's like, well, it's private information. Well, if you don't read the Bible, just say it. I don't think people would care too much. Just say, well, I'm a Christian, but I don't really read the Bible too much. Whatever. That's all right. When it comes to politics, I don't really care what religion you are, because this country is not ruled by a Bible. I care if you care about freedom, and liberty and shit like that. Number 8, he's not like Ron Paul. Now, when Ron Paul came out, he was great. He was like, everything he said was like great. End the wars, legalize freedom, legalize drugs, end the Fed. All this great shit, and like everything he said, you just agreed with it. With Trump, it's like you agree with most of what he says, and it's nice to see somebody so outspoken. But he's not a Ron Paul, that's for sure. He's not a Ron Paul. He's just not. Like Ron Paul, you agreed with like 99% of what he said. But Trump, it's a little bit more like 80% maybe. But, Trump overall, again, I still like Trump, but he's no Ron Paul. Number 9, he wants to take in, he's like, well, we should take in the Syrians or whatever because of refugees. I'm not quite sure that we should do that. Because look at the country we have now. We have, our own problems. Again, we have a bunch of fucking problems here. We have a bunch of poor people here. And he's proposing we take in the Syrians who might not be skilled workers, who might just be dead weight on this country. Maybe take in the good ones, who are not criminals and, have something to offer to better this country. But we have our own problems here, and he wants to worry about Syrians? I don't know about that. Again, we're in debt. We have our own problems. And again, if I was president, the situation in Syria would never have happened because I would never have funded ISIS to begin with. And the last one, he attacks Rand Paul. Now, I think Rand Paul, I like Rand Paul. I think Donald Trump should not attack Rand Paul because they both have a lot in common. And I think Trump and Paul would have made a good, ticket there. Donald Trump president, Rand Paul VP. That would have been a good ticket there to be on, the nomination right there. Because I think a lot of people, like Rand Paul, who like Rand Paul, have now kind of focused their attention to Donald Trump because he's so much more popular than Rand Paul. And I think if they teamed up, I think that they could make a great team and get a lot of support. So there you go, people. There's 10 reasons why, the 10 things I do not like about Donald Trump. But overall, I like him. I like what he's saying. I like he's fucking everything up. He can't be bought and paid for, but because he's a fucking billionaire. And overall, I do support Donald Trump. But I want to say these are 10 things I do not like about him. So there you go, people.